Hello and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be talking about what's coming up next month with rotations and a few other things. So we'll go over basically some of the cards that are being rotated. We'll take a look at all of them through Bogum, I think that's how you pronounce it. Really bad pronunciations. Anyway, I'll leave a link in the description for that, along with this, which is the news article for rotations and everything else. So I do plan on also having a tribute video come out towards the end of the month, which I'll work on over the month, just of each card with just some flashy stuff to go with it, which will be pretty cool. So hopefully you guys will enjoy that and look forward to it. Otherwise, right now we're just going to look at the facts, what's going on, and how rotation will affect things, basically. So to start off, how formats are, there's going to be two formats, rotation and unlimited. Unlimited is every single card in the game at this point. I think it's unlimited will increase with every expansion, as time goes on. They may limit or ban certain cards from Unlimited, which is sad because it would be nice if Unlimited was just a free-for-all, similar to Wild from Hearthstone, where they can just kind of throw anything out. That would be nice to see, and I'm pretty sure that's how they will start. You can become Grandmaster in both Rotation and Unlimited, which is nice to see. They're also, I think, planning to have unlimited tournament support. I'm not sure how long that will last. Personally, I can't see that lasting for very long, just because of how Unlimited will probably be as a format. If they do continue to support it long term, that'd be nice, but I wouldn't hold that as something that will definitely happen. So keep that in kind of mind. It, like I said, would be nice that Unlimited is completely held, but it's most likely that the rotation meta and rotation sets will be the main meta for most people, especially for the competitive scene. I can see that being the main player base, because rotation is just usually how it works. You're playing the main sets, you're playing everything that's new, you want to play the most balanced game. Rotation will be what most people will gravitate to. Basically how Hearthstone runs all their stuff, that's going to be fairly similar, at least in my opinion and my view of it. So in-game tournaments, they just talk how they'll be both and how the ranking systems will work for both, and exclusive rewards for certain things and that sort of stuff. Nothing too crazy. They do then bring up Portalcraft, which will be the new class that is brought to the game. I can't wait to see this one. It's going to function very interestingly based on, I think, odd and even cards. So if you have an even, I think it is an even card. Even number of cards in your deck, certain effects will activate, and odd number of cards in your deck, effects won't activate. So it's an interesting mechanic. It'll be nice to see how certain cards interact with it. I'm sure over the coming month we're going to have all the new cards shown to us, which is pretty normal for the next expansion, so we can start looking at those and maybe even theory crafting some interesting stuff. I can't wait to see this though. You don't see many card games adding new crafts, especially like this. So it's really nice to see that they're expanding on their existing base. Upcoming tournaments, since these are from a little while ago, these ones are actually end of December, January and February. So all the upcoming stuff, nothing that I'm too interested in, but I may look into the more tournament scenes in the coming month or so, especially at the start of next year. I want to really get into breaking up separate videos for the tournament scene and stuff. It's something that I'm quite interested in learning a lot more about and getting into, so keep an eye out for that. The 40 million download promotion, and that's about all they really mention here in regards to stuff. So that pretty much covers what rotation is, how it's going to function, and what will be included when rotation does come, stuff like Portalcraft and the way they're breaking it up. So next we'll go over and take a quick look at what will be changing. So this is the forest cards that will be rotated out. These cards will not be able to be used in the rotation format. So you've got pretty important things like Elfchild May, Roach, Elf Girl Eliza's bit of an iffy one for me personally, but it is pretty popular now. Nature's Guidance, I almost missed that. That's the Roach combo. But we've got Airborne Barrage for a very similar effect now, so not too concerned in that way. Things like Ancient Elf that were really popular, not so popular now, but they were great. Elf Knight Cynthia, Crystal Tia, kind of sad to see a lot of these going. Silverbolt, Homecoming, which, never really ran now, but was pretty busted before it was nerfed. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the these cards in particular. It does suck to see a lot of them going, but it makes sense. Things like Roach really limit design space and make it hard to expand on a class, so I'm sure Rotation will do that. And all these are still going to be playable in Unlimited, so you guys can have your Roach decks over there. You just can't use them in what will probably be the main section. So we'll go to Sword here. Like I said, they do have Bahamut here, have a great setup. I will leave a link. You can go through and you can look at each one and break them down. It's quite nice. They also do all the full arts and stuff on here too, which is really cool, so make sure to check that out. But we're going to lose a few things from Sword too. Actually, we're going to lose a lot overall. A lot of Sword's aggro-centered stuff is going to pretty much be gone, which is unfortunate. I mean, Vanguard, Veteran Lancer, Centaur, Princess Vanguard, things like Ninja Trainee, which is actually an okay one-drop. We're going to lose Pompous Princess, which was quite a fairly used card. Novice Trooper, another really important Storm. Also, a lot of like the Cursed General, which I have an epic video for that. If you want to check that out, you can go through my videos. It's not too hard to find. Cursed General has some epic plays with certain cards, which is just awesome fun. Tsubaki, which is an epically good clear. And things like Aldo's Command, Front Guard General, and then the lesser used cards, probably Alexander, Dragonute. It is sad Leonidas will be going. Sea Queen, Otohime, things like that. A lot of good cards are going to be gone. I hope that the next expansion does introduce a lot to cover the ground for a lot of these classes, because it's going to suck to lose so many of them. Next up, we're going to be losing quite a few sigil cards, especially kind of the main used ones, along with spells with Faroon, which is unfortunate. So Scrap Iron Smelter, basically a staple in every single Earth deck I've ever played. Same with Red Hot Ritual, that's nearly in every single Earth deck. So it's going to be sad to lose both of those, although we do have some other one-drop, Earth sigils, and I'm sure we can find a replacement for something like Red Hot. So Earth in general hopefully won't be too bad. I mean, I don't know how many other cards will hit, but I don't think it's very many. Otherwise, spell-wise, we're going to lose Kaleidoscopic Glow, things like Time Worn Mage that give you Crimson, even though Time Worn hasn't been used anywhere near as much as it used to be. So losing that isn't going to be such a big deal. Other than that, we're losing Merlin, Runeblade, which that hasn't been used much either. Sorcery Cache, which I'm not too worried about at all. I've been cutting that from a lot of decks just because it's not that good. Fate's Hand, probably one of the best draw power, and we're losing that, which kind of sucks. It's going to only be unlimited, which is kind of sad. I mean, we are losing a few Earth cards that are good, but nothing that's really used in Earth Rune these days. Sun Oracle, the biggest card we're losing probably, Dimensional Shift, which they haven't shown the nerf here yet, but that is a huge one, and it's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it's good in some ways. Like I said, limiting design space is bad. D-Shift is one of those cards that really limits design space, so it's going to open up hopefully a lot of room for Rune to grow, and for a lot of other control decks to really come into the meta, which will be nice. Cloudmus Curse, not a big loss. We've got Transform for rats, so that's fine. Everything else, not too concerned about losing. I mean, a lot of these cards don't see play in a lot of metas and aren't really a lot of staple cards for Rune here. Other than those couple that I mentioned, D-Shift is pretty much going to vanish, so you're probably going to see things like Giant Chimera control decks instead, which is only really losing Glow and Fates, which both are really good cards, but I'm sure we'll get replacements for those. So the next we have got Dragon. Great, another class that is losing quite a bit. I also forgot to remove Rune. There we go. There we go. So, Ivory Dragon. Solid card used in PDK quite regularly, along with a lot of these other cards like Fire Lizard. We're losing pretty much all discard engine, which I'm really upset about. Wildfang Dragonute, one of the biggest dragon cards for this. Sorry, I clicked, but I wanted to state that. So whenever you discard a card from your hand, deal 1 damage. Great with Altered Fate, which we're also losing, and we're losing PTP, which kind of sucks. What else have we got here? We're losing Dragonite, which I'm actually okay with. I don't think we need more ramp. I think losing this ramp will be fine, and with the ramp we've already got, should stay steady. It's going to be Rage of Bahamut when we lose that in the 3 months after that. We're going to lose a lot of ramp for Dragon, and that's going to be an interesting time to see what happens. So, following up from that, Siegfried doesn't see much play. Imprisoned Dragon doesn't see much play, not compared to what they used to be like. Other than memeing sort of cards like Dragon Sung Flute, Phoenix Roost, stuff like that. Not too much of an issue there. Not until we get to Dragoon Forte. Losing that sucks. That's heavy for most Dragon decks. I mean, it's an amazing damaging card, and it's can't be attacked, so more likely that you're going to be able to kill people with it, along with the combos with Yerd, which we're also losing. And Genesis Dragon, which pretty huge one, honestly. Genesis is used as a lot of finishes, and it's going to be sad to see that go. Next up, Shadow. This is one that is going to hurt a lot of Shadow decks, because Shadow decks use pretty similar engines for the most part. Skull Beast, really good 1-drop, Soul Conversion, good draw. We do have the other follower now, which is a 2-drop that does the same thing as Soul Conversion, so it's not too big a loss, but it does suck. Dark Conjurer, no more aggro Shadow. Following up with Bone Chimera, which means, you know, Catacomb nowhere near as good now. Not unless, like I said, we see other cards get added. Phantom Howl, there goes that kind of combo. Cerberus, another amazing card. Death's Breath, Deathly Tyrant, you know, Mordecai, all these really good cards. It kind of sucks because I could have seen a Nerp deck being quite good if Mordecai wasn't removed, and that's going to suck because Mordecai being removed now means that Nep doesn't have the same sort of spot. We're also losing Lord Atomy, which, it's good now. It's had its kind of like couple month of meta where it's been alright, so I don't mind losing it too much. It just kind of sucks that we're not going to have any more auto meme on ladder for rotation. Following that up, we've got Blood cards. Blood is losing all of its aggro, basically. All of its major aggro cards. Unless they add more, of course. I'll keep reiterating, unless they add more stuff, which they will be in the expansion, which we don't know what quite adding yet. I don't think they're going to cover enough, though. I mean, Ambling Wraith and Cursed Bra Vampire, the 2 1-drops for Blood that are just amazing cards. Basically goblins, which you can still use, I guess, but it's just not the same. Sucks to lose both of those in one go. We're also losing Bloodwolf. There goes any decent Storm. Vania, so we're not going to get the pings for the Blood. Vampiric Fortress, which combos with Vania. We're losing all of the bats, basically. We're going to lose all the bats. I can't see them bringing in a heap of bats either. Because what would be the point on bringing in bat synergy when you've just pretty much axed every single bat card from rotation? Other than that, we're also losing a few other things like Devil of Vengeance, so Vengeance Blood's losing any kind of synergy that would have. Mini Soul Devil hardly used anymore, but that used to be really quite good for bat decks. Righteous Devil, so a little bit less healing in that section. Nighthorde, another bat card, completely gone. We're also using the waifu vampires, Beast Dominator and Queen Vampire, and Blood Mary. And probably one of the last few big cards is Revelation and Temptress Vampire, basically limiting what Control Blood could ever kind of do from now on. Other than that, Diabolic Drain's another card that I look at and go, wow, do we really have to lose that? Because that's a really fun card. So Vengeance is losing a few cards. I would say a lot of their really kind of great cards. Diabolic Drain being one of them. Revelation's iffy. They don't run too much. But losing a lot of that early game is just going to hurt a lot of Blood decks regardless. So I really hope they bring in some more stuff to really fill that out. Haven, another class that is going to pretty much be completely stripped bare. Other than Aegis Haven, I don't see what else is going to be really that viable. I mean, we're losing a lot of Storm cards, and we're losing a lot of other cards for things like Seraph. We're also losing things like Elena, so healing is out. So I don't know what Haven's going to do. We're going to be limited to Control Aegis, and I think that's going to be it. So, Pinion Prayer, Sacred Plea, Rabbit, you know, basically all of the major healing cards, along with all of the Storm cards, pretty much gone. We're also going to be losing Decree, which is a huge removal. Like I said, more of the healing cards. And, of course, probably the biggest one we're losing here, Instatured Seraph. Such a great, fun card. You know, especially when you can proc it a lot. I think it would have been more fun if we kept Seraph and we just lost the few procs, so we have to make up for them in other ways. Beast Call being probably also the biggest amulet we're losing. I really do hope they can fill us out. I can't imagine how big this expansion is going to need to be. If it's just a normal sized expansion, it's just not going to be enough. I mean, sure, we're going to have, 5 sets to work with. The new expansion, Starforged Legend, Wonderland Dreams, Tempest of the God, and Rage of Bahamut. But is that going to be enough when we're losing Standard and DE? Standard being what I think the biggest set. So losing all of Standard, we really need a new set to come in and take its place with just as many cards if we want these decks to work well. And I hope that's what we'll see. Especially with the new craft coming in, and we're going to need a lot of cards for that. It'd be nice to see a huge expansion. Lastly, the neutral cards we'll be losing. We're losing quite a few good ones. Angelic Snipe is a good spell. Altered Fate, the only real discard card. Path to Purgatory, an amazing card for decks that just want to burn cards. Demonic Strike, burn damage. Yerd for proccing more stuff. Unicorn Dancer and Bellringer. I mean, we're losing a lot of good early neutral cards, along with like healing and stuff like that. Dance of Death being one that I'm really sad about. I really love Dance of Death. It's a great card. Lucifer and Prince of Darkness are probably the only other major big cards. It does suck to lose Dark Angel Olivia and Odin. Maybe we might get a normal Angel Olivia that does something similar, or maybe, you know, similar to Dark John and Normal John. But other than that, Odin, kind of sucks to lose that in rotation because it is one of the few cards that can banish for every class. So every class had access to banish. Now in the rotation format, we won't have that. But as I said again, all of these are usable in Unlimited. Shouldn't be an issue unless they, you know, change or ban stuff or limit stuff based on their own whims. So that's pretty much it there. And then, of course, you have all the cards that will be usable in rotation, which you can easily click the little rotation button up here and go through all of those, but we won't really be doing that because there is still a lot of cards that will be usable. Of course, pretty much all of Basic, I believe, will be usable, except maybe a few cards. They haven't actually really talked about what won't be in the Basic set that we can use and what can be and cannot be used. But we are losing a lot. Shadow Reaper is going to be pretty much, I think, useless at this point. And we're going to lose a lot of cards when the next expansion comes out, with Rage of Bahamut losing a lot. And once we do lose Tempest of the Gods in 6 months, we've really got to hope the next couple expansions, you know, after the next one, really fill those gaps, because a lot of those staple cards are in those sets, especially Rage of Bahamut and Tempest of the God. They have just so many cards that are in every deck now. So hopefully we'll see a lot of change. I mean, we're going to see a lot of people trying to work out how we can build great decks again and what we can use, because a lot of decks now are based, really haven't changed since Tempest of the Gods and Rage of Bahamut. When those sets come out, we've really only seen alterations made to older decks. Of course, we have seen PDK, we have seen, you know, a few other things pop up here and there, especially with Neutral and Abyss Blood and those sort of cards. But the most of those have either been nerfed or just aren't anywhere near as good now compared to the older decks. So getting a fresh look is what rotation is all about, and I'm sure we'll get that with this. So I'm glad if you guys have stuck to the end. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, and, you know, comment down below. It would be great to see your thoughts on rotation, and if you are looking forward to it. It's just going to be huge, so look forward to New Year's time. It's going to be amazing. I plan on having content coming out as much as I possibly can. Hopefully I won't be too busy when rotation happens, but you know what it's like. It's going to be Christmas, then it's going to be New Year's. It's also, you know, all the other stuff that goes on top of that, and it's just going to be an absolute busy time. So stay tuned, and I'll catch you guys